this is Spriggin' with What Ifs, back here with a new What If, this being, what if Deku was a primal saiyan? So, let's get into some background of this story. So, Deku has the exact same parents, Inko and Hisashi, them having the exact same quirks as they would usually have in the canon story, with Hisashi having fire breathing and Inko having telekinesis. One tiny little tweak that I'm making to this is that Hisashi is a agent that works all around the world, that helps, well, anybody that he can. Sometimes helping heroes. So he's famous in his own regards. And Inko is the CEO of a pretty famous support gear distribution center. Izuku is born with a tail in this, which they were shocked. He was also born with pitch black hair, so they know that he got this from the hair from his father. They had no doubts. As then they check at birth if he has a quirk, as it does show that he has the double joint. But something that I should inform you of is the fact that Inko's side is what carries the Saiyan gene. One thing that has stopped the Saiyan gene from showing up in anybody else was the quirk gene. So any person in Inko's family that had a quirk wouldn't get the Saiyan ability, but it kept on just passing down, being denied, and just stopped and never activated. So when Izuku was actually born quirkless, but since him being an actual Saiyan, his body changed so it would morph to look like a quirk, which helped him so that they wouldn't think that it was anything weird. So let's get into some background. So around when Izuku was 4, he got into a little scuff with Bakugo. Izuku having a more angrish and stubborn personality, with him seeing Bakugo bullying a kid, as he tells him to stop, with Bakugo saying, "Why don't you make me?" As Izuku just cracks his knuckles and says, "Sure, why not?" As Izuku just punches Bakugo on the nose, which this leaves Bakugo with a broken nose as he starts running away crying, with him helping up the kid that was there, as he notices that it's a girl, with him not thinking much of it, asking if she's okay, as she says, I'm fine, thank you for helping me." As Izuku says, "Nothing, it's what a hero would do." As she smirks at this, as Izuku just runs off and starts swinging on the playground. As that night, Izuku was looking up at the moon, as it started shifting into a full moon, as Izuku started feeling this pulsing in his chest, because he'd never looked up at a full moon before, him having to always go to sleep right before it would come out, but him just staying up a little bit later than his normal curfew would be, as he rushes out to his mother, saying, "Mum, my chest, it hurts." As Inko rushes over to him, as she asks, Izuku, are you okay?" As Izuku's body starts morphing, as it starts going through the normal grade 8 process, as he starts getting bigger and bigger, as he just runs outside, until the point where all the entire town, that part of the city hears is a huge roar, with it booming across the entire city, as this waking up everybody there, and causing car alarms to just go off, as Izuku starts banging his chest with him going on a rampage, ramming through buildings, destroying countless cars, as well as coming to a stop at a beach. At this point he's now looking back up at the moon. As then the great ape Izuku starts hearing police sirens, as well as then he hears a hero talking over a voice thing, as he says, "Stop! You are breaking the law," whatever, something like that. As then Inko comes in saying, "Stop! That's my son. He's not in the right state of mind. He can't. I've never seen this, but he can't control it." As they just think, "She's a kid. What the hell we gotta do?" As a let's just say Snipe has some tranq bullets that he uses as he hits Izuku's neck with him falling over. As by the time of the morning, he's transformed back to his normal state. As he's being restrained in a hospital, as he's getting checked up on, as his vitals are all normal, everything's being perfectly fine with him. As Inko asks him, "What caused you? What happened? How did you? What caused you to turn into that thing?" As Izuku says, "Well, I was looking up at the moon because, well, that doesn't matter. But then my heart started pulsing, and I couldn't control it." As Inko thinks about this, as she thinks, maybe as she thinks, well, maybe it's like a werewolf kind of thing. Maybe like if you stare at the full moon, you'll transform into that thing. So let's just not let you stare at some full moons for a while, okay, Isu? As Izuku just replies back with, "Yep, I'm perfectly okay with that." After this, Izuku never looks at a full moon, and he starts building on muscle tone, feeling a need to get strong. As whenever a kid would try to challenge him to like a fight, he'd always win. He feels like he needs to. Like, if he doesn't, he will, hate himself for losing. As this causes him to start training more and more and more. And by the time that Izuku is 8, he already has a really toned body, with him even having a six-pack, as well as toned muscles, as that he's able to punch a full tree. He's able to punch a tree with it being able to like split, with him not even using his full strength doing it. As let's go to when Izuku's in middle school. So around this time, Izuku is still keeping up with his training, and he runs into a girl. This being that girl that he saved. As he starts talking to her, with them becoming close friends. As she recalls upon the time that he saved her, saying that it was really brave of him. As Izuku says, "Well, it was nothing. As I said then, this is what a hero would do. And I plan on becoming a hero, so yeah." As her eyes start sparkling, saying, "Really? I do. I plan on too, but, my quirk doesn't really fit a hero." As Izuku asks, "What's your quirk?" As she says, I can kind of control people's bodies kind of like I can kind of like manipulate their blood and use blood to make stuff. Well, I kind of had like total blood manipulation. It's kind of why Bakugo was bullying me. As Izuku starts growling, thinking, son of a bitch, rip his head off. As as she sees this, saying, calm down, you don't need to get angry over something that happened a long time ago. As Izuku slowly starts to calm down. After this, like 12 minutes go by as he comes back to the question. Yeah, I do think you can become a hero. As she's shocked, thinking, really? As Izuku replies back with, yeah, with a quirk like yours, I most certainly think that you can. I mean, with all the fact that you can restrain people from long distances, you don't even need to fight. All you need to do is just stop them. And can you tell me some more details about your quirk? Like, does it give you any like benefits? Yeah, like stuff like that. As she goes on with saying that, well, because of it, if I use my own blood, I can, like, to make stuff, I pretty much just have endless blood, so I could pretty much just be an endless blood donor. That also does help, considering the fact that I am let's just say that she has this blood that works with any type of blood, and it also helps it. Let's get back to the story. She also goes on the fact that I also have like a regeneration, which helps me like heal from some stuff. It's only minor, but it's helpful in some situations. As Izuku is all recording this down in a notebook, as he does still have his hero notebooks, even though he does train a lot. While he trains, he does research stuff like on quirks and like training. So Izuku thinks, well, with your power, I think maybe like some ways to get your blood out easier instead of having to do like normally, like say having a syringe puts like right like next to your like waist that draws endless blood that you can call upon. Yeah, maybe. As she thinks that's a good idea. As Izuku says, well, if you need me to help you come up with like some kind of hero outfit for like that can help you with that, my mom kind of owns one of the main support gear distribution things. As she brightens up, thinking, really, you'd help me do that? As Yuzuki's all flustered, walking back like, yeah, sure, I don't see why I couldn't. I just can't be out on full moons. As she's asking, well, why is that? As he goes on saying, well, you know that giant, ape creature that destroyed part of the city? Yeah, that was me. As she shocked me, like, well, really? As Izuku continues on saying, well, yeah, so it kind of activates, like, on full moons and whenever I stare at it. As she goes on, like a werewolf? As Izuku says, yeah, kinda, except more of like a giant monkey thing. Yeah, I haven't transformed into that thing since, and I don't really want to because of that feeling that I got. As she's all supportive of him, saying that, well, it wasn't your fault. You couldn't control it back then. You were only like 4. Well, you're only a young kid. As Izuku's blushing, saying thanks, but you don't really need to say that stuff. I came to that conclusion a long time ago. So they end up becoming some really good friends, to the point where, well, they do kinda start dating. They don't really put a name on it, but yeah, they do start dating. Yeah, as something that I should mention, her name is Naya. Well, better off me pronouncing it Nia. Well, yeah. So her and Izuku get really close, to the point where he trusts her with everything, her trusting him with everything. But around the second year of Izuku at high school, as I mentioned in literally every single one of my what ifs, UA is a college. So, and I'd like to go in a little bit more detail into that. The reason that I usually make UA a college is because why the hell would you put teenagers into the situation of being heroes? High school is time for them to be kids, not training to be heroes. I mean, you can train to be a hero on the side, but why the hell would you do it then? Yeah, let's get back into the story. Well, also another thing, Izuku is at a whopping height of 7 foot at the moment, at the age of 16. So, yeah, as this is kind of the height difference between them. So, yeah, let's continue on. So, around the second year of Izuku and her at high school, Izuku noticed that she was having more fun with another guy that Izuku didn't really know, and he didn't really talk to, since Izuku is known for, if you fight him, you'll most likely get beaten up and put into the nurse's office, where Izuku doesn't really want to do it, but whenever he gets challenged to a fight, he kind of takes it overboard. So, yeah. As at one point, this kind of gets to Izuku, and he talks to Nia saying, I don't think that we should be together anymore. As she's dumbfounded, saying, wait, what? Why? As Izuku's like, you seem happier with him instead of me. As Izuku just runs off, as he starts running on all fours, which he's gotten really good at, making him faster. As he runs into the forest, as this small bit of sadness as well as rage leaks out of him in the form of a ki blast that comes out of his mouth in the form of a fire type thing, a fiery shape, which Izuku was shocked by, as he thinks, maybe this will help me get over her, as he thinks of this as a new way of training. So, yeah, as months go by of him just ignoring her in the hallways, as he also trains with this new power, with him getting mastery over it in over 2 months, with him only being able to form like small ki blasts, as he realizes around the halfway around the 3rd mark, he can use this to make him fly, as he gets pretty damn good at it really fast, with it only taking him the rest of that month to learn how to. As after that, he starts learning how to form his ki into more of projectiles, like beams and stuff, as he also learns to form it into keyblades, which he does with him at this point learning how to use a sword, as he then does start taking some private sword lessons and using it, as he's become well adept to all of this stuff. As yeah, so around that last little bit of high school, he sees that Bakugo has started bullying Nia again. But as Izuku gets pissed at when he sees this, as he slowly starts walking up to Bakugo, saying, as he puts Izuku puts his hand on Bakugo's shoulder, saying, "I would suggest you stop this before I take your head and bury it so far in the ground that you'll reach oil. So, stop before I do that. The other option is you fight me now and get very, very wounded." As Bakugo is being cocky as ever and saying, "Sure, let's fight." As they get into a battle stance, as Izuku starts it off with a ki blast directly past Bakugo's head, with Bakugo being shot, being like, what the hell was that? As only a couple of seconds go by with Izuku's fist being in Bakugo's face. As then Izuku just starts disappearing, as he's so fast that it just looks like he's teleporting. As he starts dashing, kicking the shit and kicking and punching, as well as slamming Bakugo into the wall's grounds. Yeah, and to the point where Bakugo has both of his eyes have turned into like black eyes, as well as he has a broken nose, a fractured jaw, and some fractured arms. With Bakugo's goons rushing him to the nurse's office, with them not saying nothing about what happened, as Nia tries to go up to Izuku, as Izuku just jumps away, not wanting to deal with the pain of talking to her. Yeah, so let's skip to the 10 months training period. In this time, he gets taller, like by like a foot. This is him now being 8'2", as well as he starts training more and more and more. So he's gotten to the point where he can level an entire city with his punches, with him being able to level, if he wanted to, being able to use his ki blasts to destroy an entire country. But with him not doing this because he wants to be a hero, him not doing anything bad. As something that I should mention here, he still has the same traits as Canon Izuku, with him being a hero nerd, but that not being as much as the fact that he still just likes researching about heroes, taking down their weaknesses, their strengths. Yeah. So that continues to the point where if I was to put it into a power level state, like in Dragon Ball, he would be around Goku's level at like around the end of the Android saga. Yeah, so around there. Well, more like the end of the Cell game saga. So yeah, like around there. That just being his base. I haven't even tapped into his Super Saiyan forms yet, so that'll be nice. So, yeah. Let's get into the UA portion of this. So, when Izuku gets there, he sees Nia, as well as the guy that he noticed, she usually was more happy around. Yeah. So when Izuku goes in, they start explaining the whole theory as well as that part. As they take the tests, Izuku only needing... Well, Izuku doesn't really put that much time into studying, but him still being really smart, him still being like a straight-A student. It takes him around 15 minutes, when the whole entire test would usually be around 45 minutes. With him handing it in, as well as he goes to sit back in his seat. So then that time skipped to when President Mike is explaining the theory. The practical exam. So, yeah. As Ida does still interrupt, as Izuku says, "Could you shut up so he can explain?" He was probably about to get to that. As Ida just shuts it when he sees Izuku's cold glare. As President Mike says, "Thank you, Izuku Midoriya, for that, because I was just about to get to the practical part of this." As Izuku says, "You're welcome," and yeah. So he explains the whole 1-pointers to 3-pointers, as well as the 0-pointer being, well, no points, but if you want to go for star points, sure. Them not actually being star points. As he takes the first portion of the students to the city portion, like training ground. Yeah. I'm gonna take a little break here for a second. Yeah, I'm back. And so, Nia's there, Izuku's there, the whole normal people that are there, like Ayama, Ochako, Ida, all that. And yeah, so that's how it went. Yeah. As President Mike starts the countdown, during the countdown, Nia was trying to go up to Izuku, with him noticing this, as he just tries to avoid her. Yeah. So around the count where it hits 2, Izuku sees the door halfway open, as he dashes straight through. As any robots that he saw, they would be destroyed. So this goes on for around 5 more minutes, as all the other students just rush in, trying to get as many points as they can. As Nia does use her blood manipulation, as she taps in, Izuku did help her create a system of drawing her own blood endlessly to the portions of the fact that, yeah, she does create small daggers that she puts into vital points of the robots, as well as she just does uses the blood to just put inside the robots and then make them explode. Yeah. As around the 15-minute mark of the whole entrance, the whole practical portion, there was a huge explosion as one of the buildings starts falling down, with Muscular coming out of it saying, I'm here to take out some little grudge, a little bit of anger that I need to get rid of. So, who is gonna be first on my punching block? As the first person he sees is Nia, as he rushes towards her. As Izuku sees this, as he just runs as fast as he can to her. As before he can make it, Muscular starts holding her by the neck. As when he sees
when Muscular sees Izuku rushing towards them, she throws her to the ground, this knocking her out. As well, that happens as Izuku starts clutching his chest. Let's just temporarily, for a quick second, just say something. Inko is in the observation booth, as she has met Nia. She knows that she's very important to Izuku, as when she sees this, she knows something bad's about to happen. So, when that happens, Izuku starts clutching his chest, as he starts saying, "It burns. It burns. I can't hold in my rage." Yeah. Also, shoutouts to this guy, Red Nather, and the creators of the Legend: A Draggable Tale short movie, which I have to say is really good. But yeah, this is what happens to Izuku when his chest stops pounding. Yeah, so he transforms into the Super Saiyan. Well, into this fiery Super Saiyan, which I'm just going to call his primal Super Saiyan state. But it actually isn't. This is just normal Super Saiyan. But as he sees Nia laying on the ground, his perspective starts to warp as he thinks, why not make this guy suffer as much as possible? As Izuku's hair and the whole fiery state changes from the nice goldish, blondish, yellowish color to this green, pinkish, purple, dark state, as he starts cackling. As Muscular says, "You scared, kid?" As Izuku says, "No, but you should." As he has a huge smile on his face, as Izuku disappears, with him reappearing in front of Muscular, as Izuku's foot ends up in Muscular's face. As Izuku then teleports again in front of Muscular, just punching him. As he says, "I will make you pay for hurting her by ripping off your head and mounting it on my wall." As Izuku just starts punching, as he jumps back a little bit, as he lets Muscular stand up, as Muscular rushes in, as he thinks he might have the upper hand, thinking that Izuku got tired. But as he starts punching Izuku more and more, he sees Izuku's smile get bigger and bigger and bigger. As Izuku says, "I gave you a couple seconds. I give you a minute to just try and stop me from killing you. But you couldn't kill me in those precious minutes you had left. So, bye-bye, as Izuku starts punching him more and more and more until Muscular starts begging, please, please stop, I give up, I surrender. As Izuku says, you don't get to surrender. As Izuku hears Nia's voice call out saying, Izuku, stop! As Izuku looks back to her as he sees her getting up. As Izuku de-transforms. Yeah. As he rushes over to her, asking, Are you okay? As she says, yeah, I'm fine. But you really did a number on him. As Izuki says, yeah, that's kind of what happens when you hurt someone I love. As that's where I'm gonna end this what if off.
If you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me if you enjoyed how I told this version and this one, and if you wanted me to continue the series as well as do more what ifs like this. Yeah, well, as I said, good evening, good night, and good morrows to the people of